What's going on today, guys? Thanks for tuning into the Movo TX gear review channel, and look where we are. We are at my favorite local park, Foothills Park, and just getting out of a rainstorm this past week. Thought I would get out and hit the trails. We just came out of the oak forest up along Steep Hollow Trail. I've got you guys up on the headband. I apologize if you can see my glasses here and a bit of my eyebrows, but hey, that's kind of how it is. Today we are gonna do something a little different. I've got my old iPhone 5C rigged up here as a GPS trail tracker, and I hope you guys can see that. Wow, what a beautiful day. Post-winter rainstorm hike. Hey, that's new. So far I've seen 2 oak trees downed that weren't that way the last time I was up here. It's a pretty big tree too. Everything's so dry up here that when we get that first rainstorm of the winter, everything gets soaked. All the dead branches that are up on you can see there, oh, I don't know, a third of that thing is dead. So all that deadfall up there is going to soak and topple the whole thing over. In fact, yeah, if you look at it, notice the way it fell. So of course there's soil structure underneath there, root structure, but it doesn't surprise me that it fell this way towards the deader half of that tree. So I bet there's some of that weight dynamic going on, and all these other live trees are still up and standing. Of course it could be the wind, or who the hell else knows. About the only constant out here is gravity. Always remaining a constant. And anytime you're up a hill, you're fighting gravity, and that's what we're doing right now. So I've got you guys on the trekking pole right now. Took you guys off the headband. A little too difficult for me to micromanage the headband, the aim of that, and playing around with my GPS unit on my forearm too as well. So one thing I can say for sure about this is it's a bit of a distraction, and I was kind of looking down at it and came upon a family of deer 10 yards off the trail. Just a gorgeous day out here. I apologize about the audio. It sounds like it's a torrential windstorm. It really isn't. That's just how this camera processes the wind. Even with the wind noise reduction turned on. I had one complaint about this camera. It would kind of be that. So, other than that, no complaint. So, thanks for staying with me here, guys. We managed to hike up and out of Wild Horse Valley down that way. Kicking back here, hillside. This is the Movo TX gear review hill site that I'm going to do more and more gear reviews from up here. So, feeling pretty good, feeling pretty comfortable here. Let me turn the camera around. Got you guys on the LG cell phone. I think my cell phone handles wind noise a whole lot better than my Sony action camera. If you guys are hearing any wind at all, it's just simply because, you know, that's just how the microphones in these things are handling the wind. But there's really very little wind out here. So anyways, managed to do the first half of my hike using my old iPhone 5C as my trail GPS. I'm hoping you guys have got that into focus, and it's been pretty good. I'm not sure if I'd keep it on here like all the time. It's kind of bulky and awkward, but it's really not that bad. Now this is just a jogging armband. Now there's better ones than this, more like sleek and lower profile ones than this. I might invest in one of those, but this is just one I picked up on Amazon for, I don't know, $5 or $6 or so. And it's pretty cool. Seems to work pretty well. Let's see. So, let's see. You're looking. Mount Diablo is right there, and that is directly due east. So one thing about mounting the GPS on the arm like this is that way is pointed north. Or that way is the direction the compass is reading, put it that way. So when I look at it this way, my orientation is a little bit off. So I have to kind of keep remembering that. Whatever direction I see on the compass on screen, it's going to be pointing in that direction. So literally, Mount Diablo is directly due east. I'm not sure if you guys can see that on the screen, but that is in fact due east. And north is now that way. San Francisco is literally that way, off there. There. Okay, so just read you guys some stats. I've managed to climb a little over 1,000 feet, 1,050 feet ascent, done 2.1 miles, and my overall altitude is 1,684 feet, which isn't too high, but that's how I like to hike. Lower elevation, California hills and that kind of thing. So getting kind of cold and chilly up here, actually. I wish the sun would come back out, but nonetheless, we're going to head on down that way. Got you guys back on the Sony action camera, and you guys are mounted up on the trekking pole once again. So, in fact, now with the sun down, this might be a better time to give you a quick snapshot of our trail heading. So we are headed that way. That's basically south. Our north-south line is going this way. That way is south, directly behind me. North. San Francisco is off that way. Okay, so we are headed in this direction now. Now we're not headed in an overall southerly direction overall, but that's just the way we're pointing. So I apologize for the wind noise. If you guys are hearing any wind whatsoever, that's just how this camera captures that bit of data, I guess, so to speak. It's not really that windy at all right now. One thing for sure, it got pretty chilly. I gotta keep going, keep moving. So this is the easy part of my hike. You guys have seen this before. You guys have been on these trails before. This is all downhill from here. One thing's for sure, this is not as long of a trek as I thought it was. So, according to my GPS tracker, I've only gone about 2.6 miles. Okay, now I'm bouncing back and forth now. Now it's, yeah, I must be in a dead spot for GPS signals. It's kind of bouncing around. So I think this is only about a 2.mile, maybe 2.5 mile point to here. So I think one thing I'll be able to do better when I get back home is download the map information and actually get a better reading on the distance I've traveled. So there we go. Yeah, see, so anytime I stop and kind of pause and take a break, there you go, 2.24 miles. And I'm on 0 miles per hour right now because we're just resting, I'm showing you. So 2.24 miles, and I'm descending now back down to about 1,000 feet. So that's the one nice thing about this hike, is that entire fire road section is pretty much all uphill, and the downhill, the enjoyable part, is into and out of this oak forest, which is really fun. I wonder if I can do this. Here, let's, hopefully without breaking my neck, put you guys on camera, keep you guys on camera, and just kind of watch the GPS, the GAIA app, as I go. So we're going to be winding in and out of various switchbacks and trail junctures and things as we go here. So I'm not even looking at the camera at this point, I'm just watching where I'm going. So one thing's for sure, going downhill, it's very easy to keep up a 2.5 to 3 mile per hour pace. which is very comfortable for me. This is very awkward, by the way. So I hope you guys are appreciating this, as awkward as it is for me to hike. So anyways, let's go that way. So it's been a really short trek so far. Done about 2.8 miles right now. So maintaining a pretty steady pace, about 3 miles per hour downhill. 2.5 to 3 miles per hour. I try to slow my pace down a little bit here and there. No point in me going that fast, really. So here we are, if you guys can see the GPS. Total of 2.82 miles, and we're slowly descending back down to about 1326 feet elevation. Just love this park after the rain. Everything is green, the air is cold and crisp. Now this part of the trail is usually very green because it's so well shaded, but still, I mean, after a rain, everything is just awesome. So far, really liking the arm-mounted GPS unit configuration of my old iPhone, and pretty good. Not bad here. So I don't know. We'll get back on this way towards the trailhead, and I'll let you guys in on some feedback here that I have on the unit. But I guess the question now is, and I've got a makeshift, essentially, GPS unit, GPS radio, both GLONASS and North American, so to speak, satellite systems. And my understanding of the Apple iPhones is they have pretty good GPS radios built into them. Now, I guess the question is, the million-dollar question is, how good are they? Are they better than Garmin, Magellan, and the others? You know, dedicated, purpose-built handheld units. And I guess the only way to know that is to literally buy one and compare it one versus the other. But for what I'm doing here, and since basically the iPhone was sitting in a drawer, you know, I bought a $15 battery, replaced the battery for it. And it seems to be okay. It seems to be pretty good. Now, I understand civilian GPS is only accurate to within X amount of factor. So with those limitations in mind, just basic trail tracking seems to be okay. I've been in and out of this oak forest, and steep creek gorges and things like that, and I haven't had any situation where it looked like I was losing GPS satellite signal at all. So I suppose that would be one concern right off the bat. And I guess the other question too is Apple iOS versus, you know, Android, Samsung and LG and Motorola, what have you. Which units have better GPS radios? And for that, I have no real data either. One thing I've noticed too is, you know, me being ex-Apple iOS user, and my wife and my daughter both on iPhones, every once in a long while on my LG V10 I will, which is an Android phone, I will lose GPS signal every once in a while. And for what it's worth, I can recall very, very few times on an iPhone where, between my ex-self, my wife, and my daughter, where we've lost GPS signal on an iPhone. Now that's driving GPS, Google Maps, and whatever, mind you. That's not the GAIA app, but I think it's all the same, really. So looking out across Palo Alto, that away, straight across to Mount Diablo, due east. We're still on Los Trencos Trail, descending on down into Wild Horse Valley and the campsite up that way. So we're coming out of our trail, coming to the end of Los Trencos Trail here, and back to the main fire road. So we are back at Tully Campground, and just decided to take a little bit of a detour and kind of wrap it up here with this, using my old iPhone as a GPS unit. So the verdict is still out whether I like this whole armband mounted concept. So I've got the armband off and we're on the review table, and hey, I think the verdict out here is still pretty good, overall positive. I guess the question is, how much value is it lugging around, I guess, so to speak, a dedicated GPS unit or phone, I guess in this case, versus just using the app in my Android phone. I don't know yet about that. I might install the GAIA app on my Android phone, but I've heard that iPhones and Apple in general has really, really good GPS units, GPS radios in their iPhones, and so that would be one reason for me to kind of continue and keep using it the way it is. I might get a different armband. This one's a little bit big and bulky, kind of rubber bandy, so to speak, but not too bad. But I still want something a little bit less obtrusive, and I'll probably, try and find one that's at least rain splash water resistant as well. That would be nice. So anyways, gosh, if I can stop pressing buttons here. Anyways here, so we can kind of see our current speed, 0 miles per hour, of course. Our current speed is 0 miles per hour. Distance that we've gone is 4.2 miles, and the total ascent that we've done is 1,129 feet. And just kind of an overview, our map, if I can zoom it in here. This is really hard to do on camera, but I got to make sure I don't press buttons here on the screen, but there we go. So there's our little trek, our little 4.2 mile trek today. So anyhow, you guys might see me post follow-up commentary, follow-up video on my usage of trail GPSs in the future. Whether I stick with this or I get a dedicated Garmin or something of that sort, I'm really not sure yet. I could very easily stay with this and just stash it in my pocket or whatever. We'll see. I don't know yet. But anyways, so that's been this chapter here on the Movo TX Gear Review channel. If you guys have any questions or suggestions regarding the GAIA app, please feel free to post comments, questions down below, and we can continue the discussion that way. Anyhow, stay safe out there, everybody. Enjoy the outdoors, and I will catch you guys later.